Welcome to the Charleston Real Estate Connection Podcast, connecting and reconnecting you with all things Charleston. I am your host, Nia Joy, your golden realtor, licensed in the state of South Carolina. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the 15th episode of the Charleston Real Estate Connection Podcast. I am here right now with Brent Suttles of the Suttles Law Firm. Hey, Brent.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm wonderful. It's Friday after a busy week, so it's a great day.
All right. Even better. I mean, lately for me, it's been feeling like a Monday every other day, but that's good, right?
I don't do Mondays, Nia, ever. No, I'm just kidding. It does. I'm going to tell you what, the changes that keep coming down the pipe and society in general is taking a day-to-day approach to things with the virus outbreak. So you never are sure what's coming at you. A lot of days, a lot of hours feel like days, it seems like.
I can imagine. I want to get into that and ask you some questions about that, where we are. But
Sure.
The first thing I ask all my guests is their connection to Charleston. What's your connection to Charleston, Brent?
So I'm from the upstate of South Carolina originally. Born and raised, went through high school in Pickens, South Carolina.
Oh.
It's
Cows.
a metropolis. Okay, it's not a metropolis, but still. And then I came here for undergrad. So moved to Charleston for undergrad, ended up working in local government for about 8.5 years, and met my wife during that time, who is from here.
Okay.
And so, of course, that meant staying here, although I didn't have any plan to leave at that point.
Nice.
And went to law school in Charleston. So I have been here for 16 years.
Wow.
I didn't realize that that's more time than I thought.
Isn't that funny how you add up the time? That's
it. I've almost been here longer than where I was born, actually. So that's kind of crazy.
Well, once you reach that mark, what I like to do is I like to deem you an official Charlestonian.
Okay.
You're okay with that?
Is there like a hat or something that comes with that, or is just,
there is coming soon. You know, we're working on ordering some stuff. You know, I'm just giving people golden keys to the city. They're my
golden
keys.
key. That's awesome. Not right now though. It's on lockdown.
Right. I have to wait. I do have to wait. I have to wait until that period of lockdown is complete. So yeah, that's so cool. So that where you're from?
I love it here. It's great.
Yeah, and in comparison to where you're from, I've been through there because I'm on the way to Spartanburg. You guys have cows? Did you grow up with cows?
I mean, personally, no, we didn't grow up with any cows.
Oh.
I mean, there's a lot of pasture, a lot of fields.
Okay.
But even that area, I think there may be more llamas here. But growing up, that area is booming, just like not to the same degree that Charleston is, but the subdivisions and developments and things like that are really you're out of space in your normal hubs of living. So like you can only go where the vacant land is, and that's what developers are doing.
That is true. In Charleston, we're having to go further out. I definitely agree with that. Well, one of the things I wanted to talk to you about was really I wanted to address not only my audience who are non-realtors, but I also wanted to address, help out some realtors as well with some of these questions. And one of my questions is, I know a lot of times people don't really interact with your law firm until they're ready to buy or sell a house, usually.
Sure.
So, with that being said, I know one of the big things that happens with the deal is the contract. The contract is the center of everything, right? So
it is.
So when it comes to the contract, what are some of the things that you're seeing that has been a little bit problematic when it comes to contracts? What are some things that realtors and their clients can kind of look out for to kind of just help the deal go a little bit smoother? If at all. I know smooth is such a relative word.
Well, no, I mean, there are definitely things that people can do to kind of hedge their bets, for lack of a better term. The first thing, and I implore this practice in day-to-day life, in the business, in all of my relationships, but managing expectations. Because for
Okay.
you as a realtor, or from a client's perspective, if I'm going to expect something from my agent or my lender or my attorney,
Right.
I have an obligation to make my expectations clear. So
For
as
sure.
an agent, as an attorney, I want to make sure that I fully understand what you're looking for,
Yep.
and I want you to know that we've had that exchange of information. So managing expectation. If you ask me to put an offer in on a house for you,
Right.
and you want $1 million to come with it as closing costs, I
Hmm.
need to tell you that's not a realistic expectation.
There you go. Yeah. True.
Not
True.
not one of those you kind of floated out. Okay, we'll see what happens. No, it's not going to
True.
happen. And so the reason that I bring that up is because the only way that you can adequately and accurately translate that into the contract is to know what you're asking for,
For
or know what
sure.
you're rejecting. And so be specific when you're filling out these
Be
contracts. If
specific.
you want the blinds, put in there, I want the blinds. If
Okay.
you want the blinds for free, put in there, the blinds will convey at no cost.
Okay.
If you're a seller and maybe this was an investment property for you and you've been paying taxes at 6%, which is
Uh-huh.
expensive compared to the 4% rate for owner occupied residences,
Uh-huh.
then you may want to put in the contract, taxes will be prorated at 4%, because that's what the new buyer is going to qualify for.
Oh,
That way
wow.
you're not having to give as much of a credit to the buyer
That's a
because
really
it's
good point.
prorated.
That's a really, really good point. I like that. That's a really good tip. That's like a pro tip thing. I
Pro
love
tip.
that. I love that
That's
because
free. I'm not charging for that.
yeah, thank you, thank you. That's some really good advice. So be specific on what you're asking for in the contract. That's very important. I've had people get TVs and couches, and they think that's so important to actually, like you said. I don't think I've ever put that in mind. Like, be sure, like you distinguish between at cost or no cost. That's really good.
That's right. There's really the days of, sadly maybe, but the days of handshake deals are over.
Hmm.
You know, you can trust that person, you can love them, you respect them, you can be best of friends with the party that you're entering a contract with.
Uh-huh.
But at the end of the day, the only thing that's relevant, at least as far as the closing is
Hmm.
concerned, is what's in the contract.
For sure, that's true. True. I love that. I love how you mentioned that. I think I'm going to actually talk to my clients that way, as far as especially like about that particular um idea that yeah, you can no longer say yeah, we'll take care of it. It's you can't go verbally and think it's going to
No, I
happen.
mean everything, and you don't want to. There has to be some kind of resolution at some point, because you could turn a contract, and some builders do, into
Hmm.
50 to 100 pages. That's kind of overkill for
Hmm.
our typical run of the mill residential stuff. But
Okay.
if your heart is going to break and you're going to feel like you got um, a bad deal if you didn't get the um, washing machine manual or
Right.
something along those lines, then you need to ask for it. And to the other end of that, when you do put something in the contract,
Uh-huh.
you have to do it. You have to do what the contract says. Um,
Uh-huh.
we had one recently that the some certain appliances were supposed to convey,
Okay.
and the seller thought that it was going to be more expensive for the buyer to repair one of the appliances, and that it wasn't worth anything.
Hmm.
They got rid of it.
Whoa.
Buyer moves in and wants to know where the appliance is, and so it turned into like a heartburn moment for the parties. One party, the seller, thought they were doing the buyer a favor, but the buyer specifically asked for it. So you have to do what you've signed on to do.
Wow. Well, that's some really good advice. So we just got through talking about contracts and the importance of being specific, and leaving those details, making sure that people know about costs,
That's right.
and maybe even time frames in the contract.
Absolutely.
Um, so when it comes to the performance of the contract and things like you wanting to update title, I know the names on the title, sometimes people don't understand how that works, and they may write the contract, start off with just themselves on the contract, on the title, and then they may want to add a family member later. What are some of the things that you were seeing, or what are some of the things that may be helpful when it comes to people understanding what it means for the name to be on the title and removing it?
So when someone says to be a name on the title or to have a name on the title, that means that you have some ownership in the property itself. So, the contract has two separate spots allocated for names. On the first page of the contract, it says buyers. So those are the people that are going to contribute to the cost. So they're actually going to pay for the house. Now, you may have someone on title who is not going to pay for the house. Maybe they're not going to be on the loan, for whatever reason. Those are the ones that you want to put in the section that says, and specifically it says that the seller is going to convey marketable title with a properly recorded deed in the names of, and that's where you want to put everybody that's going to go on title. So if you have a situation with a married couple and one of them is the only one on the loan, then in that second section, they both want to go on title because they both want to have some ownership in the property.
Right.
Then you need both names in that second section. And so, yeah, that does change. It's not a huge deal in the scheme of things. Like a seller probably doesn't care how many people you want to put on title,
for sure.
But you still need to update the contract if that changes before closing.
Before closing. Gotcha. We do see that sometimes. One of the things that I like about working with you guys, which I've been working with you since I got in the business a couple years ago, is I like that you guys are really attentive or in tune with your clients and like realtors and agents that you work with. And I notice now more than ever, especially in times like these, even more, you guys are offering concierge services. So tell us a little bit about some of the things that you do to kind of really help clients and realtors get the job done.
It's so important, and I beg the agents and lenders that we work with, if you learn something about the buyer or the seller that we're representing that would help me in what I'm doing, I want you to let me know. So if we have clients that are teachers, it's not always reasonable to say, hey, I need you to be here at 10:30 in the morning to sign some documents when they're at work from 9 to 4, 8 to 4, something like that. So, we've had closings as early as 5:30 in the morning because the client was coming from out of town or had a job obligation they had to get to. And we've closed as late as, 8:30, 9 o'clock at night for the same reason.
Okay.
Because they couldn't wait until the next morning, and that's fine. The funniest thing that comes to mind is, we had a client who was wheelchair bound, and they were terrific, but I didn't know this until they got to the office. And this was at a former location we have that at that time didn't have a ramp, wheelchair accessible. So I actually did this client's closing in their van with them. We signed the documents in their wheelchair accessible van because that was what they needed.
Wow.
And so we'll do what it takes within reason, as long as we're staying legal. We close at conference rooms all around the state. So last week I was in West Ashley at a bank in a conference room because, again, these clients, they were teachers, so they're in quarantine right now, unfortunately. But they have 3 small children that they didn't want to drive all over the world, so we just met there. So whatever it takes is what we'll do to get it done.
I love that because I specialize in working with hometown heroes, and teachers, that's a big deal. Teachers, military, firefighters, that's like their schedule's already crazy. Then you got this new thing with the coronavirus happening right now. It's a lot. And I love that. I love that you guys
we don't want to ask them to have to use their leave or something like that when it's something that we can help limit.
Definitely, and that's the cool thing about it, because you may have offices in Somerville, but then you're willing to move around and accommodate people, and I love that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So as far as some last things I wanted to go over with you, I would really like to thank you for your influence with the with our MLS. Charleston Trident Association of Realtors. I personally haven't been able to benefit from some of the sponsorships that you've had in place, and I didn't even I didn't even really know that you were a sponsor until I got accepted to their 2020 program and leadership program.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so that was pretty cool. Thank you for the opportunity. I love that you give back to us, and really try to help invest in our businesses.
I really think that educated realtors, educated agents, and those that are dedicated to what they do, they make the job easier for everybody. We never want costs to be a prohibition from bettering yourself and from learning more and taking advantage of opportunities.
Right.
And CTAR, Charleston Trident Association of Realtors, they do a fantastic job at making sure they offer, I mean, every program imaginable.
Hmm.
And so we enjoy helping people take advantage of those because you knowing more about your job and being comfortable in what you're doing makes my job on the back end much easier. And
Nice.
we have been working together since you got into this business, and it's so amazing to see your growth
Mhm.
and your commitment to your clients. When you have a client, I mean, you become almost like part of their family. You know everything about them because you invest in your client.
Right.
Again, I think that lets you do a better job in making sure that you meet their needs. And so it's just been a really cool working relationship to see that growth. And that translates to our side too, because then you are able to make sure that we are delivering on the services they expect of us.
For sure. For sure. Yeah, it's a circle. It's a continuum.
It
I like
is.
it. Yeah. Give it back. So I know you've done some trainings for our brokerage, Homegate Real Estate, and I know you also do it for other brokerages. That's also cool. How
Yeah, we're
can
always available for any of those kind of things.
Okay.
Trainings, we'll come to your space. We'll do, these recordings just like we're doing now.
Mhm.
Um, we want to make ourselves available for that. And so if anybody wants to get in touch for those kind of, to try to maybe arrange or facilitate one of those, we're glad to do it. We'll cover whatever the hot topic of concern, debate, things are always changing. And
Yes.
so we'll learn with you and we'll provide the best guidance that we can.
For sure. Thank you, Brent. And I think the last thing I really wanted to ask you about was, or one of the last things was, as far as the hot topics that are happening, or some ongoing things that you're seeing, maybe in our area or across the nation. What are some of the things that you want to kind of leave us with, as far as things to look out for?
Oh man,
So many.
that's limitless. But
So
um, you know, I think the first thing that's always so important to me is just um, safety, especially in the climate that we're in now. We've even
yes.
um, some groups that I'm a part of, with the South Carolina Bar Association. The conversation has even started. How do we disclaim and hold harmless related to the COVID-19 virus that's going around? Like, what would
Yes.
a buyer's responsibility be? What's a seller's responsibility? These are
Hmm.
questions that maybe 6 weeks ago we never even would have been able to imagine. We're
Okay.
just that far out from it. So law is and real estate. I mean, they're always on the edge and changing as new problems present themselves. But safety first. Real estate agents,
Hmm.
um, knowing your clients, knowing who you're meeting with, knowing where you're going. Um, we really believe in a comprehensive relationship with the people we work with. So we want to help you from beginning to end. Um,
Nice.
man, it's such a big topic area that it's kind of
It
hard to
is.
nail it down.
It is. But I'm glad you touched on that, with the virus, and I know that more recently Charleston County deemed real estate agents as essential in the workforce. So that
Hmm.
was helpful. I mean, because and that's one of the things people are always asking about. Are they still buying and selling in this market? And I mean, despite everything we have going on, it's a very difficult time for so many people. People still need a place to
It's a it's still a busy environment. Um, you know, this is the challenge we're facing right now, and in 6 months, it may be a very different challenge.
live.
But
Correct.
yeah, you're right. People still need places to live. People, we still live in a desirable area where people are coming by the thousands,
Mhm.
and real estate's, I don't foresee it stopping.
Mhm.
And so we need to be prepared. And real estate agents are essential. I don't care what the county and cities say, but I
Mhm.
was even willing to drive agents since law firms are since attorneys are essential services. I'd drive you to the showing if we had to.
See, look at you guys.
There's more than one way to do this thing.
For sure, Brent. We appreciate you, and we thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to kind of engage with me and the audience. I look forward. I'll be sharing your information in the show notes. Anybody want to reach out to your firm, they can reach out and ask any questions. And
Sure.
I thank you again for being on.
No, thanks for having me. It's great to be able to spend some time chatting with you, and we want to be a resource for anybody who needs us. So let us know what we can do, and I hope it was helpful. Thanks.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Thank you guys for listening to the 15th episode of the Charleston Real Estate Connection podcast. I'm Nia Joy, just finishing up with Brent Suttles of the Suttles Law Firm. We will see you on the next one. Stay golden and stay safe. This has been another episode of the Charleston Real Estate Connection podcast. You can find us on our website at charlestonreconnection.com. That's charlestonreconnection.com.